Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to go over my thoughts on the Madden 23 beta. So to get started, I just want to say that first of all, what you're seeing in the background is not any of my gameplay. It's the official Madden trailer, as you can probably read on there. And I also want you guys to keep in mind that I am telling this from the perspective that this was a work in progress beta and that it wasn't the final game. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the game. So to start out, I'm going to go ahead into offense. I broke down offense into two sections, passing and running. So to start off with passing, I think the biggest thing that we saw in the beta was the new passing mechanic with the new reticle and the new meter and all that. It's definitely a really good thing for the game, and if you don't really practice it, I think you really won't find it useful. You do have to kind of practice it a little bit to get used to it and understand how to use it. I personally went into practice mode and it gives you a couple of like tutorials on how to do it, and it helped a lot. Showed me a lot about the new meter, and I like it. I like it a lot. It's really good for the game. Gives you a lot of little freedom that you didn't get in Madden 22, where you just couldn't place the ball where you want to, and you could only just use a specific pass lead, and just based on whatever the quarterback stats were is what you would get. There's also two types of meters. There's a placement, and then there's a placement and accuracy. Placement and accuracy is just basically a blue line appears in the meter, and if you get it in there, you get perfect accuracy. And then the other one is placement. It's the original lob, touch, and bullet pass. It just has a meter to it. Personally, I was using the placement meter, so I really didn't get to do a lot of what the placement accuracy was giving. I just wasn't a big fan of it. I feel like because from what I noticed, it was an automatic bullet pass every time, and I don't really like that. I think sometimes using touch pass or lob pass can help. So I personally use the placement meter, and I liked it a lot. It was cool. It took a little bit to get used to, like I said, but it's definitely really good for the game. Moving on with passing, obviously with this new system of passing, you're going to get new animations, and that's what they did. There's a lot of new sideline animations based on how the ball is placed. There's a lot of new low catching animations, high catching animations, catching and traffic animations, wide receiver and defensive back battles, which I'll actually get into in the final section of this video. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of new animations that respond to how you place the ball, and it makes the game feel a lot better. Definitely some improvement there in the passing game. Overall, it's just the passing game feels a lot better, a lot more fluid. Along with passing, I'll kind of get into the game in during like pre-snap. I noticed you really couldn't spam audibles. Like they kind of give you an animation every now and then where he like points out or doesn't whatever, and you can't like spam it over and over again. I'm not sure if that was a product of this just being a beta, but it was definitely something I noticed. I also noticed in pre-snap it's actually very useful to have your passing adjustments set. I know in Madden 22, obviously, it's good to have your passing or your pass blocking adjustments set, just so you know the blitz doesn't come in or like the pass rush doesn't come in. Um, but yeah, I noticed this year it was a big thing to like understand your pass blocking adjustments, understand the pocket, moving in the pocket well. A lot of awareness going on, and I feel like that kind of leads to players actually playing through the entire play and not just kind of like sitting back and holding a button and then boom, play's done. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of more thinking involved with what you actually need to do during a play and before a play and even after a play. Okay, moving on to the next section that I want to talk about is running. Um, Obviously, with the new whole field sense thing that they're bringing, they added a new thing called 360 cuts or hard cuts. This is actually a really, really cool addition to the game that is kind of will kind of be overlooked. Basically, it's so in past years, Celebration was L2, LT on Xbox. Um, but now L2 or LT is very reminiscent of, I think it was Madden 18 they had it, where you do like better moves kind of. I can't remember if that was the game that did that, but like L2 would cause like a different spin move, or L2 would cause like a different juke move other than just not using L2. And on top of that, you can hard cut into the hole using your left stick. And I think that's a really, really cool thing because it actually is really helpful for hitting holes quick. Another thing with running is that a lot of what's going on around the field is interactive to what's going on with the ball carrier. So, you'll have players getting blocked backwards. The running back will bump into them. Players will be falling down. The running back will kind of, nick the player that fell down and he'll stumble a little bit, or he'll kind of like bump to the left, bump to the right, bump forward, bump backwards. A lot of really interactive stuff that's going on around the field makes the game feel a lot more real, makes the game a lot more realistic in a sense of, a lot is going on in the field and you just really have to pay attention to what's going on. Okay, moving on to the defense. Now, defense is also split up into two different categories. First, we'll start out with coverage. Now, I think the biggest problem in Madden 22 was the defensive coverage system. Obviously, they did match coverage, meaning that meaning that zones would literally just pick up on receivers and leave their zone. It was really annoying, really screwed with defenses, literally gave up free touchdowns all the time. It was a horrible thing. Um, Now you have the option to switch between match and spot drop zone coverage. Spot drop is basically, if I could give you an idea, it's basically old generation Madden zones. They sit there in their zone. They don't really pick up on anything. It's just kind of like they stay in their zone where they're supposed to be based on their zone coverage stat, obviously. And it's really good. It's really good for the game. The zones felt very nice. They actually, guarded what they needed to. I tried out match for a little bit just to see how it was compared to Madden 22. Same thing. They pick up on receivers a lot, and it's really annoying because they give up a lot of big plays. So it's a good thing to be able to switch between that. It gives you a lot more freedom on your defense on what you really want to do. The other section I want to talk about is pressure and tackling. So this is just kind of going into pass rushing, run stopping, and just tackling in general. Um, Tackling is very, very, very responsive to physics-based gameplay. Obviously, this game is animation-based, so you get animations based on what's happening, based on the tackle. That's how the game is going to be. That's how games are made. You can't really get rid of that, or you wouldn't have a game. Um, but I noticed what they did is they improved on this by responding to what's going on the field. So let's say you have Derrick Henry versus, I don't know, Bryce Callahan, 5'9" or really small corner in the league. Obviously, Derrick Henry is the bigger guy. One on one, Derrick Henry is going to win that battle a lot of the time. You don't have Bryce Callahan just standing up Derrick Henry and stopping him, getting a stonewall animation, right? There's a lot more physics based going on in the sense that how many people are tackling the ball carrier? Where is the tackle coming from? Is it coming from behind, in front, left, right? Is the defender moving full speed at an offensive player moving full speed? Is the offensive player moving full speed while the defensive player isn't moving full speed? A lot of that works into what's going on, as well as the physique of the player. Is he 6'2", 250? Is he 5'10", 180? A lot of that goes into what animation you're going to get. Makes the game feel a lot more responsive to what actually should be happening, because I know a lot of the time you would be getting, stuffed at the goal line just because you get a stonewall animation. It was super, super annoying. I know fall forward animations were a thing, and just it would randomly happen. So I think it's really good for the game. And I didn't really notice that much of a problem with, like, like, oh my God, there's no way that this player should be stonewalling this guy or whatever. It seemed to be pretty balanced on what animations you were getting. Another thing that I want to talk about is that pass rushing was really, really annoying. Something that I think that they need to fix before the final game comes out. Now, obviously, pass rushing is not supposed to be super slow. In real life, a pass rush is going to get to the quarterback, and that is what should happen. But the rate of which a player would block shed an offensive lineman and get to the quarterback on a 3-man, 4-man rush was pretty bad. You didn't have a lot of time in the pocket to think about what's going on the field. I think it was um, a little bit too much of an aggressive pass rush. I think they should tweak it just a little bit to make it a little bit more conservative. But overall, I think that like there's a lot of new pass rushing moves. Obviously, the new field sense stuff. You bump into players and it affects how you pass rush, um, making the game a lot more realistic. And yeah, and then on top of pass rushing being quick, blitzes were super annoying. Like, dude, 6-minute blitzes literally got in like untouched almost every single time, and it was the worst thing ever. So that's something that I hope they really do fix. Now, the final section that I want to talk about is just overall gameplay. Now, obviously, field sense is the biggest addition to this game, and with field sense, I talked about an offense, defense, their respective sides of what field sense does for the game. Field sense felt good. I mean, this is a beta. This is, we still have what, almost just about a month before the game, probably 2 months before the game comes out, and it felt really good. It felt really fluid. It felt very responsive. And I was pretty impressed with how the game actually felt for a beta. Another thing about the actual gameplay is that the game felt faster, which is actually a really good thing. Madden 22, at least to me, kind of felt slow, a little sluggish at times. And, I kind of like that faster gameplay of Madden. I think it's a lot better when everything's going kind of fast. Now, obviously, it wasn't too fast. Like, I think in terms of comparing to Madden 22 to Madden 23, the game is not much faster, but it's faster enough to where it's a good change. And I really like that. It makes the pace of the game faster, makes the clock move faster. It's just a lot better. Okay, so the next thing for gameplay, I wanted to save tackle battles for overall gameplay because it's on both sides of the ball. Now, obviously, tackle battles is when a player comes in for a conservative tackle, sometimes you will get on both sides of the ball, you will spam the X or the A button. Now, whoever gets that or wins that will trigger different animations. Now, obviously, for the offensive player, if you win it, you're going to break the tackle and you're going to get out and get more yards. Now, if you lose it, though, is where it becomes a problem, obviously. So, defensive players that win tackle battles will stand up the offensive player. They'll win the tackle battle, obviously, and they will tackle them. But sometimes they'll get stood up, and that allows for other players to come in and strip the ball. Now, earlier I was talking about how the game feels like you really have to play through the entire possession, the entire play that's going on. Tackle battles kind of helps this in a sense of that you need to play through the entire play because you lose a tackle battle, all of a sudden you're in a position to lose the ball and you have to cover the ball, you have to get down, you have to do something. So I was kind of iffy on tackle battles when I heard that it was coming back because I wasn't the biggest fan of it in Madden 18, but I did like enjoy it kind of. But yeah, I think it's gonna be okay. I think it's fine where it is right now. I didn't really see it being too much of a problem losing the ball. I actually never lost the ball in a tackle battle, I didn't get much of them, but yeah, it wasn't that big of a problem. The other thing I wanted to talk about for gameplay was the wide receiver DB battles. I think I mentioned this in the offensive passing section of this video. Um, and I just wanted to leave this for gameplay because it's on both sides of the ball. Now, one big problem with Madden over the years has been the jump ball situation, right? Um, I feel like it's been very defensive oriented for a lot of the years, meaning the wide receiver really has zero chance of jumping up and getting the ball actually. I mean, it's always just the defender getting an animation that knocks the ball out. And this could be a product of, competitive mode in Ultimate Team. But at the same time, I feel like there should be a little bit of, freedom for the receiver to actually go up and get it, especially when it's like a mismatch or it's actually like a good throw. Um, and Madden actually kind of did this in the beta. I noticed, going back to the whole physique thing and how everything's a lot more physics based. I think they really did this in the fact that if you have a tall receiver on a small corner, obviously the taller receiver is going to win the battle most of the time. The cornerback is going to make a play every now and then, but the bigger receiver will end up making a play. And I do like that. I just hope it doesn't become a problem of, cheesing the game and just chucking a high pass up to a tall receiver every single time and it comes down with it. Um, but yeah, I think there's a little bit more freedom for the receivers to go up and get it. And obviously, with the whole new midair battle thing that they implemented with Field Sense, um, there's a lot more like new collisions that you'll see based on like where the ball is coming from and where the cornerback's coming from or the defensive back's coming from, how the receiver's jumping at it, whatever. A lot more stuff that goes into that I really like to see. Just overall making the game feel more fluid, more realistic. I know I've said that a lot about this game, but yeah, I mean we're in the gameplay section, so I can say that overall the game feels more realistic. I'll be honest, it feels a lot better than Madden 22. It feels a lot more realistic because there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more going into what is going on, and it overall just feels a lot better. Um, and yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, man. Go ahead, support your boy. Helps me out. Helps you feel good. It's just good for everybody. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.